we know that the only way people are free is by them understanding that somebody else has gone through this also, and this is how they came out, and there is a possibility of me coming out. You know, but when they can't, but what happens as men, a lot of times we don't want to expose ourselves. You know, we don't want to expose ourselves because exposing ourselves sometimes, you know, that word make you look weak. You got it? And so a lot of times we'll keep things in instead of actually saying, you know what, this experience wasn't actually for me. It was for somebody that was coming behind me. You got it? When that's really the main picture. It's for that individual that's coming behind me. And I don't know, we probably already started, but this is what I want to do, man. First of all, I want to honor each and every one of y'all for being here today, right? From my heart, like I honor you for making that commitment, for going through what you had to transition through, but then coming out on the other side where you can look back at it and say, you know, was it all worth it? It was all worth it. You know, what can I do different? But no matter where you are, I always say, man, I think at any moment you can stand up and make a mid-course adjustment. I don't see you being at any age where we cannot stop and say, you know,
do the next right thing.
Yeah, do the next right thing. So in saying that, I wanna talk to each one of y'all, man. Give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, and once you introduce yourself and what you're currently doing, where you know what state you're currently in, and then let's kind of like go back and kind of revisit that transition a little bit. What were some of the things that you know helped you along the way? What were some of the failures along the way? And at what point did you make that mid-course adjustment? You know, because for you to be sitting here right now, you made a decision. You know, at some point you made a decision. Sometimes we make a decision after the decision. After the decision. Of the decision that we decided to make. So sometimes we make several decisions, but at some point you said, I'm gonna make this mid-course adjustment, and you made that mid-course adjustment, and that have you in the place that you're in now, being a blessing not just to yourself, because we know self-care and love is really big, right? You know, especially for us now.
Right.
You know, self-care and love is really big. I'm starting to kind of, you know, experience that myself. Like, I love everybody, and but you gotta learn how to healthy.
Love yourself.
Yeah, from a healthy standpoint. Man, listen, how y'all doing today? So I got like 3 special individuals here that I'm gonna introduce, and they're gonna tell you a little bit about themselves, and we're gonna have a very open conversation today. And through this open conversation, we are hoping that we're able to touch, bless, and help somebody that is looking for something. And that something could be just what we call your why. Why are we here today? Why are we doing this? And your why might align with the whys that are here today. So as we go through this session today and we sit here and we're going to talk about a subject that's pretty, a subject that most people stay away from and have stayed away from. And they've stayed away from this subject because of not knowing how to approach it, not knowing who to approach it with, and then a fear of being hurt or let down because of something that you are allowing other people to project on you that is no longer you as an individual. So we want to just kind of go into this real quick, and I want to honor these young men that are here today. There's an opportunity for me to honor them because they are the real soldiers right now. We know that anytime we use the word soldier, we're talking about going into battle. We're talking about combat. We're talking about winning or losing. And these individuals have made it their objective to win. And I know with my daughter, I'm always telling her all the time, we have this saying, even when she played basketball, and even now when she gets frustrated, and I tell her, I said, winners don't quit. Winners don't get tired. Winners don't quit. Winners don't get tired. So we got a group of winners at the table, and they're gonna talk to you a little bit about, who they are, and then we're gonna go into how they did not choose to get tired, but they chose to win. I think I'm gonna start with Young, and then come back.
Please, I'm dying confused. I don't know what's going
What
on.
you doing right now? What you doing out there? Who are you? What you doing?
Hello, how you doing? My name is Courtney Williams, youngster. I'm still currently cutting hair. Been cutting hair for 20 years. It's been a journey, but no, I never quit.
Well,
My name is Chase. They call me Chase the Barber. I'm currently the owner of Lather and Fade Barbershop off Kirkendall in Louetta. I graduated from Mystros, and today I'm just trying to make an impact. I spent so much time trying to hide my story that I didn't really realize the whole time that's what the goal was. The goal was in my story, so I needed to get out there and share it.
yeah. And we have.
Live is Bob, Derek Baker, and like Young, I've been cutting hair for 30 years, and it's been a struggle, but I graduated from Mystros, and I didn't quit. I did it, and it's been a rough road, and I'm currently still a barber,
Right.
and on my way.
So there you go, guys. So these three young men, they're here, and we're gonna talk a little bit about their story, and they're gonna share with you some things that I hope that somebody that's watching this, it impacts you, and it encourages you to know that you can still win. These three young men were selected for us to sit here and have this conversation because they're family. They're family of Mystros Barber Academy. When we hear Mystros Barber Academy, then I think about these young men because they have had an impact on Mystros being where it is now. Some of the doors that have been opened along the way, they have contributed to opening these doors. So what we're going to be talking about today is our new program that's not so new, but it's new to those that have not heard about who we are and what we stand for and what we do. So what I will say is we're going to be talking about Reentry. They're going to be kind of talking to you about their story, how it played out when it came to them transitioning and going through the school or even applying themselves in the barbershop after making that decision to enroll in barber school or pursuing a career in barbering. So Chase, what I want to do is I want to start with you real quick because I have a few questions, and I can remember, like, honestly, I didn't really know your story when you first got here.
It's Chase the Barber. I'm owner of Lather and Fade Barbershop.
You were kind of quiet in a sense,
Yeah.
and I do remember your mom. And I remember your mom being there for you, and I remember her being like a solid foundation for you. I can say that, and hopefully safely say that. I do remember that part, and then I do remember like you had a transition while you were in school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you came back and you made a mid-course adjustment, and won't you share with us a little bit about what that looked like and for you and how you were able to get through that process.
All right. When I met you, I actually showed up. I don't know if you remember, but I showed up on your doorstep. I had about 11 stitches going across the front of my forehead. My stepdad had hit me with a bat just a couple of weeks before that. So my life was in turmoil, you know what I'm saying? I had started going to a school out by Kima because my mom was trying to get away from my stepdad at the time, you know what I'm saying? So that wasn't working out. I called JY. JY told me, man, you need to go over there with Kato and Mr. E. So I was like, okay, let me make that transition. So that's how I ended up at your doorstep. I was still trying to get it right, but I was still playing in the street life, you know. I really felt like the world owed me so much, you know what I mean? And I don't even know where that belief came from, but I just felt like, you know, I wasn't treated like other people, specifically because the way I dressed, the way I talked, and who I hung out with. So you owe me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was my mentality. I was stuck in that. You owe me. You
Right.
I'm gonna get something about you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
That's
it just
real.
landed me right back in prison. You know what I'm saying? So that's whenever I wrote you and I wrote Kato, and I was like, man, I need y'all to write parole letters, and y'all did everything, you know, I ever asked, and that really affected me.
Right.
And when I went back the last time, I actually really didn't cut hair because I thought I was done. I was like, man, that's just gonna put me in the same lifestyle that I don't want to be in. And I just kept praying for a passion and praying for a reason, and then finally God just sent it to me, and He was like, look, you steady looking in all the wrong places whenever you can do barbering and set it up how you want it to be set up. You can make the impact that you want to make. You know, you don't have to go follow what everybody else is doing. And to this day, you know, I feel like that's what takes me the farthest, is going against the grain. You know, all these barbers talking about know your worth and this and that, and basically scamming people, you know what I'm saying? But I decided, you know what, I'm gonna treat people right, I'm gonna give them fair pricing, and I'm gonna allow, you know, the option to tip up to them. And
Right.
you'd be surprised how many people will tip you more than what these other people are asking, because they're demanding it and you're not, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I got real trapped in just, you know, pushing myself so hard and feeling like, well, this guy did this and he made it this far, this guy did this and he made it that far, but I don't know how to get on the computer like that. I don't fool with social media like that. Like every day I'm like battling myself with so much aggression
Right.
that I didn't stop to think and realize, man, look, I need to share this. I need to be transparent about this.
Right.
Like, this is where it's at.
Right.
This is where you connect with other people and add value. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
And so that's what I'm about today, bro.
Yeah,
Just
I saw
trying
your
to add
post.
value to
I saw
people
your
and let them
post,
know it's
man.
all right.
Yeah, I saw your post, and also go ahead and mention your Instagram. That way, people will have that.
Okay, Chase the Barber 100 on IG.
Yeah. So I was scrolling and saw that, and immediately, man, it touched me because again, I felt like I walked that journey with you, somewhat of that journey with you, and I do remember the second time you went because. You know, laws had changed with TDLR.
Right.
Yeah, the laws had changed while you were gone the second time.
Yeah.
And so you were faced with another obstacle,
Yeah.
you know, when
I
you...
think that's when they changed the intent to deliver, which was crazy because that made me feel like I'm beating on kids or something like that, because that's the only other thing that was in that class.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of being denied.
And
So
it
once I
affected
figured
you.
out-
So kind of tell everybody about that because nobody really knows what happened as far as the denial.
Right, so I passed my written with like an 81, and then I passed my practical with a 98. So I'm like, I'm good, I'm Gucci. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like I blew myself out the water with that. So whenever I went, it was a district attorney that called me, and they were like, look, we work for the district attorney's office, and we letting you know you're not gonna get your license. Like they straight up told me it's not gonna happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I started getting, you know, you, Kato, Crystal when she was here, people that I was already working in the shop with. I'm not condoning doing that, but
Right.
I was already working in the shop. They were writing letters. And then finally something hit me. I was like, I gotta get somebody on their level. You know what I'm saying? The only way to make this ship move is I gotta get somebody on their level.
Yeah.
So I said, man, you know what? I was an officer barber. Man, I was cutting sheriffs, constables, whoever came through that system, I was cutting their hair.
Right.
So I just said, man, let me start reaching out to them, which was so hard for me because I came from a lifestyle where we don't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Right.
I felt like I was crossing the side of the street that I never would.
Right.
You know what I mean? But sure enough, I did it, and a few of them even told me, they said, I haven't been around you in a long time. I can't write a letter to your character. But what I can do is write a letter about your, what do you call it, your work ethic while you was here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Man, they wrote that letter and it just blew the doors wide open, man.
Yeah.
And still to this day, the investigator, he lives in Navasota, Texas, and he drives all the way out here to get a haircut by me.
Right, that's amazing. And so I remember because at that time I was working really, really close with TDLR,
Right.
and I was just starting to work really, really close to them.
Right.
And I remember taking your case in front of them.
Yeah, I remember you showed me the
Yeah.
file in your car one
Yeah,
day. Right.
yeah. That's right. Remember I sent you the file, and I was doing that. I wasn't even telling you what I was doing at that particular time. But I remember going to TDLR and just pleading with them and just telling them hey, you got an opportunity to show society that not everybody is meant for these rules that you have in place.
Right.
There are some exceptions to the rule. Right. And this young man is an exception to the rule.
Yes, sir.
And I'll stand on it, and I'll stand by it on this one. And I remember us presenting all those letters. I remember going before the board and having to talk to them about you and your case.
Appreciate it. I ain't even know that.
I remember having to sit there and talk to them about you and your case, and them saying, "Are we gonna pull a file?" And man, when I remember when you told me that, I already knew once they told me a certain thing, but you didn't know yet.
Right.
And so I remember when you got the announcement, how excited you were about it, and I knew that you were gonna do the right thing with it.
Right.
And so what I love about this moment, and where you are in life right now is because you didn't just take it one step by saying, thank you for giving me a certificate for graduating from barber school.
Right.
You took it a whole nother step and said, not only am I going to graduate, I am going to open up my own business and I'm going to employ others.
Right.
But just think about had that yes remained a no.
Right. Or if it would have just been a yes straight out the gate.
Right.
That's where a lot of these youngsters are tripping at, man. They trying to beat the process instead of embracing the process. You know what I'm saying? There was so much that I learned by those denials that when it came time to buy a business and they were telling me, oh, you got to get a permit if you change this name to this name, even though it's already been permitted. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that.
Right.
If I hadn't already been knocked back by, the DA and all that, and then whenever that came, I probably would have just smooth went off the handle on it, because, business is totally different than street life.
Right.
It's like in business, they're going to screw you over, smile in your face, and walk off.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just got to be like, okay, you know what I mean? But in street life, it's totally different.
Right.
That
So I
struggle
had to
make you
find that
appreciate it.
groove. Yeah, I had
Right.
to find that groove to
Right.
where it was like being stern, letting them know I ain't playing, but still being appropriate and professional at the same time. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right. And and another part about this is I think about it is you've always stayed a part of the Mystros family.
sir.
Even with your connection with Cato,
Yes, sir.
because I even remember when he brought you to us,
Right.
and he talked about he had nothing but positive things to say about you. And even though we knew the situation, we also knew what our purpose was for, and what we were going to stand for. Because at the end of the day, man, when you guys came through here, wasn't no financial aid.
Right.
It wasn't it wasn't that. It was all like, we got to get this done. I don't know how we got through those times, man. I'm not gonna even lie to y'all, bro. I cannot tell you how we got through.
I haven't even got into that one, but Doors, they looked at me like I was a clown, bro. They nah, that ain't no disability.
Yeah,
But that's a whole nother
A
story.
lot had changed from that time and on that with I guess with the TDLR and all that stuff.
A lot of stuff, a lot of change, a lot of transition, a lot of changes took place. But here's the point, I think all of that helped us become who we are right now.
For sure.
Now, it's not too much about those times that I would probably go and change. I mean, I can sit back, like I said, and laugh about that moment. DP, we were talking about me, finding the contrabands around here, and knowing that, like, just knowing. I mean, I'm just straight up, like, knowing that they don't know that I know that this way they keep it at. And so, and instead of putting you out of school, it was a conversation. And so my punishment was, okay, I ain't gonna put you out of school. I'm just gonna keep stealing it every time y'all put it in the spot. I told y'all I know where it's at.
But
So
look,
I'm
but look, that was also your mid-choice.
Yeah.
Because, you know, being a man, you probably don't want to talk about it, but I'm sure that blew your whole mind state through the back door, because you just like, golly, man, I'm out here sacrificing it all, doing this for these people, and they acting like they don't give a damn. So you had to recalculate your mind state and be like, you know what, even though it's like that, I'm gonna keep doing my
Still,
business.
right. Still
no,
provided
you know, and
opportunity.
at times it did get like that, but I think there's a like I said, there's a why.
Right.
You know, and that's why we're here today, because I had to get back to my why. You know, I had to get back to my why, and I had to give homage and respect to those that helped create that why and keep that door open as far as that's concerned. Because again, you guys don't understand. Your story is gonna help so many other individuals that don't feel like they have an opportunity. And there is an opportunity out there. I tell people all the time, the only difference in me and you is that one person's gonna be ready when the opportunity presents itself, and the other person won't. That's the only difference. But we all are gonna get an opportunity. But it's, will you be ready when the opportunity presents itself?
That's real too.
Yeah.
You right.
And so DP, you had an opportunity, and that opportunity was coming to Mystros. So what did that opportunity do for you?
Derek Baker, the livest to do it. I'm at Clippers on 14919 Student Airline. To be honest, it was kind of crazy how it happened. Cause like when I first came home, I was gonna go to Trinity,
Mm-hmm.
right? And Scrap was working over here. And that first year, I was talking about it this morning.
Yeah.
And that's when I first met you. And you asked me, no, Scrap was like, man, stop playing, go to Mystros, because it was the financial aid at first.
Right.
I was like, man, I don't know how it's gonna happen. I don't know how it's gonna happen. It was financial aid over there. However, you introduced me to dogs. You was like, go to dogs. I'm telling you, they're gonna pay for you to go to school. And I was like, but that was a wrestle too. I wrestled with dogs from probably September 2014 to December. I wrestled with them people that long. And they finally just like agreed to put me in school. But like my thing over there, Mr. E, what I learned from you, I learned a lot. Like I didn't care when I first came to school. I didn't care. Like I was like really caught up on, did I want to go back to the streets, or did I want to really could have full time? And I'll never forget you told me this. You say, what you do in school, you gonna do in the barbershop. I'm telling you. And I used to be like, man. I tell people right now, you got a student that go here, Twan, that he come chill with us, and you know, and I tell him the same thing. I say, bro, listen to Mr. E, fam, please, because I did it. And I had to come back to you after I failed my test, the practical. And I had to come back. I was like, man, Mr. E, I failed, bro. You said I told you. He did though. He said, D, I'm telling you, you gonna fail your practical. Watch. So I ended up going.
Now listen to what he said. Not the written, the practical.
The easiest part of it. Bro, if we cut it off, and that's the easiest part of it. So I go to the practical, and I forgot. He used to go to school here, man. I forgot who he was, man. What's his name? But he owned the shop right there behind, what's that Mexican restaurant on 45? Chocha, I don't know, but anyway, Cholo, Chulas.
Yeah.
Him. But anyway, the reason I failed, man, because this man talked me through the whole practice. Man, you can't do that. Don't do this. Don't turn me this way. Don't do this. And the people just looking like, I feel, bro, like, so I came back. Mr. E, you gave me that paper. You say, D, if you follow everything on that paper, you're gonna pass. I'm telling you. And I was like, and the one thing Mr. E made me do it by myself.
Yeah.
He ain't help me, he ain't do nothing, because you had already tried to help me. So he made me do it. And at that point, I did get frustrated. I was like, man, I ain't got no help. But I started sitting back watching people shave people. I watched Mr. E shave people, and I was like, okay, I got it now. I got it. And I passed my second go round, you know what I'm saying? And I was really proud of that, you know what I'm saying? Because like when I walked in, I was like, man, I'm a fail, bro. I said it. I was telling myself, man, I'm a fail, bro. Man, I ain't gonna even care no more. But when that lady gave me that paper, she was like, Bacon? I'm like, yes, sir, but this man. She like, oh, you passed, you got your license. I was like, what? Hold on, man, I'm finna go tell Mr. E. What? I'm finna go tell Mr. E. I was so proud to just come tell him, like, Mr. E, I passed.
Yeah.
He's like, I knew you would. I knew you would. I knew you had it in you the whole time.
Yeah.
But it was just a struggle, man, of wrestling, like, trying to speed up the process instead of just go through it. Like you were saying, I was really on some youngster stuff, really trying to beat the process. I already know how to cut hair for, I ain't gotta go to school. But you also taught me a lot of like the business side of it. To carry yourself. The way you carry yourself is the clientele you gonna get.
Yeah. You was listening, boy. I still say that.
That's the kind, like, if you want to be the, you can get out. They ain't gonna want to pay you. I'm telling you, they ain't. Not that clientele. They want they cheap. But if you can pick your clientele, and I appreciate you for that. Like, you made it possible. It's just change your image, and you helped me do that. You helped me through changing my image because I still had the street persona when I came home, the tough wannabe, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I humbled myself and like came back, and now I'm still like a good, you know, a barber.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do give back though. Like the young people that sit in my chair, I really try to tell them about the transition of what I went through and how I went through, you know, trying to be tough in the streets, and it didn't do nothing. It got me nowhere. And I lost a lot of loved ones along the way. Like, and that don't feel good. Not losing no love, man, that hurt. Man, that hurt.
I gotta say one more thing.
Yeah, no, go ahead. This is open.
I really gotta go. I'm
Yeah.
already a little late. But, the one thing that's crazy about it though is, even though, you know, we paid our dues, we got out, we trying to do better, we still broken. You know what I'm saying? Like, I deal with that all the time. It's like, I feel like my wings are broken. I can't even go into the grocery store without dealing with all kinds of nerves and stuff. And then I think about it, I'm like, you know, everyday people, they don't have to deal with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So by a person like you taking that time out to try to not only teach us barbering, but to try to speak into our spirit and our soul and heal that brokenness, to me, that's what made all the difference in the world. That was the difference between me going over here and me going to 5-star barber college out there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That dude was put something up on YouTube about how you gonna be $1 million barber and come cut.
Right.
Cut. If you don't make it on Saturday, you dropped out. Cause
Right.
he just after the money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So by you doing that, it changed the whole playing field. You know what I mean? Because that opened that door to that value that I'm talking about. You know what I'm
You
saying?
just mentioned something also that, and I know you're on a short time because you're a businessman now, and you got to get back to your shop. So, but I want to say something that, man, thank you for saying that, because what you did is you kind of took us into the next session of what we want to talk about a little bit, and you exposed something, and that is dealing with mental health.
Right.
You know, and that transition, that mental health component that you have to acknowledge. You got to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And so what you guys doing, man, I'm telling you right now, you are laying a platform for those that are about to come behind you right now. Because I'm going to be taking all of this information, and we're going to make sure that we are making it applicable for these young men and women that are coming out and that have a desire to do something different. And if we help one, you know, because we know that one is gonna go back like what you've done, Chase. I mean, I love walking into Lather and Fade, right? Lather and Fade. I love walking in there and seeing Mystros students in there cutting hair.
Everybody that worked there been through my show. I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't know that. I
Every
did not
single
know.
person.
I did not know that. But it's beautiful to go in there and see Mystro student cutting in his shop, and he came through Mystro owning the shop, and it just says that we can keep building like that.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
We can keep building like that. Who says that we can't have hundreds of those out there? These individuals have an opportunity, and you are showing, and you have shown that they have, it's accessible.
It is.
It's achievable. It can be done,
Yes, sir.
and you've done that. And again, I want to honor you for that. I want to honor you, DP, for what what you shared. Courtney, youngster, but he was knocking on the door that can't get right. I was like, bro. but I mean, even in the barbershop, like we had a lot of great times, a lot of things that we were able to kind of like transition through. A lot of ups and downs. But the good thing about it is like, how like, I'm gonna just put it like this. You know how like people say like, you got to have your 1s, 2s, and 3s, right? And so for those that don't really understand that, when I say that, your 1s, 2s, and 3s, it's like you got to have your number ones. These are individuals that basically pour into you. They pour into you. These are role models that you look at, those individuals that do things for you or willing to do things for you and not ask for anything back, in a sense. Then you got your number 2s. These are kind of like your like-minded people you kick it with, your homeboys. Y'all kind of balance each other, you encourage each other, and so forth. And then you have those number 3s where you always are there in their life to pour into them. And for some reason, you can't shake them. No matter what, even when you want to let them go, there's something saying you can't. And you won't, and you continue to pour into them no matter how much it takes, no matter like where they are in life, you just don't let them go, and you can't let them go. And Courtney, I couldn't let you go. It was like I just could not let this dude go, no matter how many times he made me mad for not doing what I asked him to do and going against the grain and actually getting his head busted for going against the grain. And I'd be like, when are you gonna get it? But he just would not do it. Like, he just would not do it. And so it puzzled me. It really puzzled me. And there was times where I wanted to let him go, but it's kind of like Scrap. Like, he just one of the dudes I can't let go. Anytime he come back and he needs some help or whatever the case is, I mean, Uncle Eric's gonna be here. That's just what it is, Uncle is gonna be here, and that's just what it is.
That's very true.
And so, what I want to hear from you, Courtney, though, is just at what point did you decide to make that mid-course adjustment, and what did you think about the fact that was it a comfort of you just knowing that no matter what I do, Mr. E gonna take me back, or I was like, what? No,
never,
I mean, help me understand now, since we can have this conversation.
Hey, I'm Courtney Williams, creator and owner of Ivy League Barbershop. My social media is Young Fatum.
What the heart?
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't know, like, I'm not from Houston. So when I moved here I've been back and forth my entire life, but when I moved here, it's a big city. It's a lot going on, a lot of women, a lot of clubs, like a whole lot going on. And I was experiencing all of that, because I've been cutting hair since I was 19, and the first stop was with Mr. Ayers. And so, I got with Scrap and a couple of other guys, and we just run around the city, and it was just so much fun to me because I had never experienced it. I'm lame to a lot of stuff. I don't know what's going on. I just know that I want to be in the nightlife, running around. This looks cool to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's what happened. But when I decided to change was when I went to prison. And I tell anybody that was the best thing that ever happened to me because I was on the course of death. Like, it was over with for me. And when I went to prison, it's so hot down there. For real, you got 100% jumpsuit on at all times, and it's so hot. And that's what I remember telling my mom that the whole time. She was like, what is it about here? Like, she was asking me if what's gonna make me stay out of there. And I was like, it's hot. It is hot. And it's hot outside right now.
Right.
And man,
Yeah.
it's different anyway. But when I went down there and I came back home, I just was like, man, I got to do something different, man. Like, I'm getting older, I have children, I'm steady making the same mistakes over and over and over and over. And then, I just, within time, I just ain't quit. Never quit. A lot of stuff, give you a lot of credit to a lot of people because, you taught me business. You taught me how to build a brand. You taught me how to, you know what I mean? Like just all of that stuff. Like I call you my mentor to this day. And I tell people I can go to a laundromat and plug up some clippers and I can get it pumping the road. You know what I mean? And I learned that from you. You know what I mean? Like I know Instagram and all of that, which is great. I mean, because that's what's going on these days. But I remember passing out cards right here in the parking lot with you.
Yeah.
Going into Food Town every time. Everybody should know your name on the strip. Or every business around you, everybody should know your name. And I got that from you.
Yeah. I remember like a lot of different things also, like your Slim.
Oh, you talking about my oldest son?
Yeah, your oldest son.
Yeah,
your oldest son. I remember like just even that journey, like building that relationship with him and how he was like the barbershop kid, like we actually walked that whole process. Seemed like we ended up walking that whole process together to where I remember what it was like when you finally got a chance to see him, and I'm like, and she brought him to the barbershop. I was like, it was like we all had this moment with this kid that it was. That's one moment that really stand out to me about that your relationship with your son, when and us, how hard it was for us to get that moment that you were able to have and share. And shared it with us all. You remember that? I'm sure you do.
I remember, yeah.
But you probably surprised I remember that, though.
I am. That's what I mean. When I brought him, when he was 15, I brought him over here. I think I brought him over here to see him. I'm like, you looking like, man, this kid, like, you don't even understand. Like, when you was a baby walking around the shop and pushing him in the stroller, taking him to Christine's to the food restaurant, feeding that baby that food. But it was a great time. Like I said, I think I grew up like really pretty much under you. And I was just like you said, just a kid that didn't get right, just like, here this boy go again. Here he go again. Here he go again. He's young, like, bro, time out. You need to go time out. And go sit out, but he ain't never let me go. Never gave up on me.
Right. So what are you doing now, though?
I currently own my own barbershop, Ivy League Barbershop, which is down the street. It's a struggle. I see a lot of the things that you went through. I'm seeing it myself now, especially dealing with other barbers. I can't get right now.
You can't get right now.
Can't get right now. And I don't let him go.
Right, you can't let him go.
No, I just,
Right.
I talk to him. Sometimes I got to pull his coattail, but for the most part, I just kind of sit back and observe. And, if it's just too out of line, then, I'm definitely going to speak on it. But he got to learn.
Right.
He got to learn.
So, again, for me, like, the beautiful thing in this is, like, even in us having this conversation is, I'm excited that you do have your own barbershop now, but remember, you just said that some of the experiences that you've already gone through, as you can see, they really weren't for you, but they were for the individuals that's coming behind you. Right. And so now you're equipped to handle that with these guys that are coming in now because you've already experienced it. Right. And so you're now, in a sense, what I'm hearing is you're trying to keep them from going down some of these same roads that you've already experienced and know what that's going to be like for you, and and I'm giving you a tool. I'm giving you a career, something that you can take and actually make something out of, not just yourself, but leave something for your family. You know, we know at the end of the day, one of the biggest things for us as men is that role of being a man, and how we classify ourselves as men. And one of the things I wanted to bring to, you know, everybody's attention is that we want to, you know, at this particular point, we want to continue to like take what we have learned and the experiences that we've gone through and share those with other individuals. All right? So we've talked about mental health. We've talked about, you know, financial literacy. You know, which is really big. You know, financial. Yeah, because if you can't balance your finances, if you can't understand, you know, the economics that goes along with business, then it puts you behind in a sense.
That's very true.
And so we need that transitioning out. We need that even in daily life, you know, as far as that's concerned. DP, I remember with us, we had a bank situation. Like, you're going to the bank. When you first got home, right? Like, cause you know it was even that having to go to the bank, and you know, like,
stuff, man.
Yeah, it was.
I'm still like transitioning to the business side of it. Like,
Yeah.
It's still like a wrestle because I ain't like really like figured it out yet.
Mhm.
I'm still like.
Have you asked?
No, and I'm glad. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all something. On everything I love, man. I told somebody yesterday. I say, man, this ain't nothing but God, bro. Putting me in the lane that I need to go in because I've been playing all this time, like.
Yeah.
And he brought me right back to where I needed to be.
Yeah.
Like, for real, like, I'm like, man, bro, come on,
Yeah.
man.
Right.
Like, I'm right back at Mr. East. Come on, man. All right, Mr. E, I'm listening now. I'm listening.
I call you all the time. I call you all the time.
Well, you don't call me all the time. We talked. Matter of fact, we talked this yesterday.
Yesterday. Yeah. I called him, hey man, what do you think? How am I supposed to move? Like do this? Well, shoot, you tell me every time, but it's always a straightforward answer. But you give the option like, are you really ready? Because if you're really ready, there's no point in us having this conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I can respect it. It's like, okay, look, when you're ready, I'm gonna know you're ready, and we can move forward from there.
Yeah, because that's just a matter of somebody saying yes. You know, because that's one of the reasons that we use the slogan we do here, because we know that the moment that somebody commits to Mystros and say yes, then we know you're serious. We know you're ready for the challenge and everything that's gonna come along with this walk. You know, but our job is to be here and walk this out with you. You know, and what we don't have, we reach out and make sure that we get the resources that are available, because I mean, I don't know everything. You know, I'll be the first one. You know, there's things that I'm still figuring out. There's times where, you know, I need to lean on my number one to make sure that, you know, I'm moving in the right perspective. You know, that's the reason that we're sitting here now. We're sitting here now because of my mid-course adjustment. You know, me stepping back and saying, hey man, don't forget, like, why God has blessed you the way that he has. Like, he blessed you with a purpose. Not just a gift, he blessed you with a purpose. So don't get it twisted. Don't forget to make sure that your gift is in alignment with your purpose.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Yes. And so I had to make sure, like, in that alone, that's why I'm sitting here right now honoring you guys, you know, because you guys were a part of my purpose. You see? Right. And now that we are reconnecting from this standpoint, we're going to take this purpose and we're going to reach out to other individuals and make sure that we're sharing our gifts and our purpose with you guys. And we're inviting you. We're inviting you to these conversations that we're going to continue having. I just made that decision. We're going to keep having these conversations, and I would like you guys to reach out to us. There's several ways that, you know, you guys can reach out to us. We'll make sure that is posted on the screen once this is uploaded. However we choose to upload it, we're going to make sure that this information is on the screen where you can always reach out And we're going to continue to pour back into our community. Why? Because you guys have poured into us, and we are here for those that are looking for a home, looking to start a new career, and just don't know how you're going to get it done. Well, we don't want to turn you away with a no. And we're not saying that every case that comes here, we're going to have an answer for. But we'd like to take a shot at it, because we know that even if we don't have an answer for it, that we have someone or somebody that's waiting for you. You are not a failure. What you are is a winner. And winners don't get tired. Winners don't quit. So at this particular point, I can't wait for you to make a decision to say yes. Because here at Mystros Master Artists, my yes starts the road of success.
That was nice.
My yes starts the road of success.
My yes starts the road of success.
And my yes started the road to success.